Today we're diving into some of the most baffling true mystery cases from around the world. These are real events involving real people and leaving behind questions that have never been answered. If you have ears to listen and time to stay, let's begin. The Isdal woman, a life that ends but never begins. Our first story takes us to Norway. In November of 1970, a group of hikers were exploring a remote area near Bergen known as Isdal Valley. Locals called it the Death Valley and often avoided it due to its isolation and dark history. There, lying among the rocks, they found a woman. Her body was badly burned, and there were no witnesses or signs of a struggle. The scene was eerily silent and completely unexplained. Police began to search the area and discovered some of her personal belongings, shoes, jewelry, and travel items. But something was immediately strange. Every single label on her clothing had been carefully cut out. No brand names, no country markings, nothing. It was as if someone had deliberately tried to erase her entire identity. The autopsy added another layer to the mystery. It revealed that she hadn't just been burned, she had also been poisoned. A high amount of sleeping pills was found in her system. This raised a serious question that investigators could never answer. Why use both fire and poison? When police finally tracked down her luggage at a train station, the case only got stranger. Inside, they found several wigs in different colors and styles, along with notes written in a coded language, not normal text. Investigators managed to trace her movements across Europe. She had stayed in hotels under various names, always paid in cash, and frequently changed rooms. Hotel staff who remembered her described her as quiet and nervous. She constantly looked around as if watching for someone. One witness even stated she behaved like a person who believed they were being followed. Despite years of investigation, no missing person report ever matched her description. No family ever came forward. No government or organization ever claimed her. Even decades later, with advanced DNA testing, her identity couldn't be confirmed. She has no name, no origin, and no known past. She is known only as the Isdal woman, and she remains unidentified to this day. The Tamam Shud case. We travel back to December 1948 to Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. A man was found dead, lying peacefully on the sand. He was well dressed, his shoes were clean, and there were no signs of violence. At first, it looked like a natural death, but there was one major problem. Nobody knew who he was. He carried no identification, no wallet, and no documents of any kind. Doctors examined his body, but couldn't find a clear cause of death. There were no injuries, no obvious illness, and no confirmed poison. His death had no medical explanation. While searching his clothes, police found a tiny piece of paper hidden in a secret pocket. On it were two words, Tamam Shud. The phrase translates to, "It is finished," and comes from a rare book of poetry called Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Police launched a public appeal, and eventually, the very book the scrap of paper came from was found inside a car parked nearby. Inside this book, they discovered a handwritten cipher rows of jumbled letters with no obvious meaning. Experts from multiple fields, including military intelligence, tried to decode the message, but none succeeded. Some investigators theorized that the man might have been a spy, operating during the tense early days of the Cold War, but no intelligence agency from any country ever claimed him. To this day, the Somerton man remains unidentified, with no known past and no explanation for how or why he died. Hinterkaifeck, a house that was never empty. Now let's go to Germany in 1922, to a remote farmstead called Hinterkaifeck. An entire family of 6 was brutally murdered. Their bodies were only discovered days later, after neighbors noticed that no one had been seen around the property for a while. What disturbed investigators most wasn't just the murders, but what happened afterward. Evidence showed that someone had remained in the house after the killings. The farm animals had been fed, meals had been prepared in the kitchen, and the fireplace had been recently used. It appeared someone had stayed there, living in the house, while the family lay dead in the barn. Another unsettling detail emerged from footprints in the snow. A set of tracks led from the woods to the house, but there were no tracks leading away. This suggested the killer had been hiding on the farm before the attack. Over the years, many suspects were investigated, but no one was ever convicted. The house was eventually demolished, as if to erase the terrible memory, but the case itself remains one of Germany's most notorious unsolved crimes. The YOGTZE case, a final word with nitrogen monoxide meaning. Our next case is the strange story of Gunther Stoll from 1984. One day, Stoll started behaving very strangely. He was paranoid and told his wife and friends that they were after him, and that he had uncovered something important and dangerous. Later that night, he was involved in a serious car crash. He was found alive but badly injured. Before he died on the way to the hospital, he managed to scrawl a single bizarre word, YOGTZE. The word has no known meaning. It doesn't belong to any recognized language or confirmed code. Earlier that day, Stoll had seemed terrified, convinced that people were watching him. Investigators believed others might have been involved in his death, but no suspects were ever identified. The meaning of YOGTZE and the truth behind his death remain a complete mystery. The lead mask's case, death without injury. Finally, we head to Brazil in 1966. 2 men traveled to a hill near the city of Niterói. They never returned home. Their bodies were later found lying side by side. There were no signs of violence, no injuries, and no evidence of a struggle. But they were both wearing strange, homemade lead masks over their eyes. Nearby, police discovered a notebook with a cryptic message mentioning capsules and radiation. However, no capsules were ever found at the scene, and autopsies showed no signs of radiation damage. In fact, doctors couldn't determine any clear cause of death at all. The case of the lead mask's men remains totally unexplained. These were real cases, real people, and all of them remain unsolved. This is Spooky Munch. If you enjoy true mystery stories, subscribe for more, because sometimes the scariest stories are the real ones.